to a drug which is noxious and unintended and which occurs at doses normally. Whatever the therapeutic doses we are taking, that can be occurs. We know that on adverse drug reactions. That may be different from person to person also, but it happens. Adverse events or experience any untoward medical concurrence that medical occurrence that may present during treatment with a pharmaceutical product, but which does not necessarily have a causal relationships with the treatment. This is the adverse event that may occur. Side effect. Any unintended effect of a pharmaceutical product occurring at dose normally used in human which is related to the pharmacological properties of the drug. Side effects. Serious adverse effects, expected adverse effects. That can be expected. Like if you take that isoniazid, then there may be chances of liver toxicity. There may be peripheral neuropathy. That it is expected adverse effect. Or paracetamol, or you can say the aspirin. That there may be long-term administrations of aspirin may cause that hemorrhage, or that may leads to gastric ulcer. Okay, unexpected. This is the most important, because maybe the most of the people they are using the same drug that is effective and that does not causes any sorts of unwanted effects, but some patient due to the genetic variation they may produce the severe sorts of adverse effect, which is called idiosyncratic reactions, because there may be some drugs that be metabolized by different types of microsomal enzymes, and due to lack of that enzymes that may cause a severe adverse effect. Like you know that glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, this is genetically controlled enzymes. If there is a deficiency of the glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, that may lead to hemolytic anemia if you administer the oxidizing agents. So such data, it's not come in one day, but it will come day by day and after must applications of the drug. Next one. This is that I think this is that some new terms for that faculty members, which is I have taken from that some classical Ayurvedic book, the concept of ADR in Ayurveda, because we are concerned about the pharmacovigilance in his Ashu drug. So what is that what mentioned in the Ayurveda, and what is that meaning of that modern equivalency, modern medicines? Like বিরুদ্ধ দ্রব্য প্রয়োগ, বিরুদ্ধ দ্রব্য প্রয়োগ. You just think about that Bengali meaning of this one. বিরুদ্ধ দ্রব্য প্রয়োগ. That means drug interactions. Bleeding tendency after intake of phenprococumin along with ginger or warfarin sodium with holy basils or garlic or mango or papaya. So it is not like that we are taking some patients, those who are thromboembolic disorder, they are taking warfarin sodium as an oral anticoagulant. At the same time, they are taking like ginger or maybe the garlic or mango or papaya. So it was found that they produce the bleeding tendency. That is the half drug interactions. So you should have to keep in mind when you are taking that warfarin sodium, you should not take such types of Ayurvedic preparations or the herbs. Like Boidokriti, iatrogenic effect. That means the faulty diagnosis or the prescription could be due to the wrong selections of the drug with the respect of disease conditions. That complications due to a therapist and improper examinations of the patient, improper diagnosis or the administrations of the improper administrations of the drug. Oti matra drobbo proyog, overdose, drug overdose, excessive administrations of aconitum ferox that causes hypertension and bradycardia. Like similarly, poncho kormo bhopod, like therapeutic procedural complications could be due to the faulty preparations of the drug. So such types of, so if you concern about that Ayurveda, the classical Ayurvedic terms in concert with the equivalent to the modern parliaments or modern equivalency, and what are the complications occurs. So this concept of ADR in the Ayurveda, so there are different terms used in Ayurvedic, classical Ayurvedic books and their modern equivalency. Next one. Possible causes of half-drug interaction. There are some examples how it is not like that. The half does not causes any sorts of complications with modern drugs, but it is wrong. Some established and proved examples: bleeding with warfarin and ginkgo or garlic, oral and topical corticosteroid by licorice, potentiation effect. That means the efficacy of the topical corticosteroids enhanced by licorice, or all source substances are incompatible with milk. If you are taking milk, then you should not take any types of sour substance. Avoid eating melon and grains together. Watermelons, everybody is like watermelons, and grains should not be taken together because melons it digests quickly, whereas the grains takes more time. So due to these contradictions, there is a upset of the stomach, because in the Ayurveda they have mentioned if you take the proper food in proper time and maintain, then your health will be good for a long time. You should avoid different types of disorder. So food habit is most important, because we are taking food, whatever we like we are taking, but that should not be. Like simple examples like cooked food and uncooked food should not be taken. That means generally what we are taking during in the daytimes, we are taking salad along with the cooked food. So in the Ayurvedic systems of medicines or Ayurvedic systems of ahar, that cooked food like whatever the rice or boiled things should not be taken along with the salad. Sweet and sour food should not be taken, because we are taking the mixed food, fruit salad. But sweet and sour food should not be taken all together. Either you should have to take all sweet fruits or all sour fruits. If you maintain in regular life to this food habit, then I think you will be the much more healthy than whatever you like to take. Because when we feel hungry, then whatever the things we like we can take, because maybe we are taking the burger, or maybe taking the egg roll, chow mein, whatever the junk food we are taking, but that will causes problems in your stomach. Next one. This is that purpose of the reporting area: to identify the safe drugs, to calculate incidence of the adverse reactions, how much percent of the adverse reactions, to identify predisposing factors of ADRs, to identify previously unrecognized ADR. Hello? Yes. Bolo. Yes. I'll finish. Further. And to improve patient safety. Next one. This is that ADR reporting systems of herbal medicines in India. This is the flow diagram. So from the herbal drugs formulation to consumed by patients, to chances of ADRs, if any sorts of ADRs, then reporting to the ADR centers, peripheral pharmacovigilance centers like our Calcutta in the JB Roy hospitals and JB Roy Ayurvedic hospitals and clinical research centers, intermediate pharmacovigilance centers, national pharmacovigilance centers, then Ministry of Ayush, and so on, like the quality evaluations, and ultimately World Health Organization's Uppsala monitoring centers, that is Sweden. And if the complications is much more than the, or risk factor is much more higher than that beneficial effects, the drug will be banned. Otherwise, on the basis of the on concerns of the patient safety. Otherwise, it will market it. Next one. This is another flow diagrams. I won't go to the details because safety of the public health guideline proposed to the member states, global survey questionnaires for herbal medicines and regulations. So there are different stages by which you can improve the safety profiles of the drugs for human application of ASHU drugs. Next one. This is some Magic Remedies Act 1954 and Rules 1955. That there will be some restrictions. You cannot give the advertisements of drugs whatever you like. Like every day, if you observe the paper, or if you watch the TV, or even maybe then the phone means that is WhatsApp or Facebook, or maybe that radio, there are a lot of advertisement comes. and that provoke the patient. Like that is a rapid remedy, magic remedy, like less wrinkles in only 1 minute. There are some products is available. So people are concerned about that product and they can buy and apply for their own without thinking about their complications, future complications. Next one. This is advertisement. This is the magic remedy advertisements. And there are some examples I will give in the next slide. Next one. What is that classes of prohibited advertisement? There are different classes. Which advertisements should not be comes to that market, which should not be given to the different media, like for the procurement of miscarriage in women, or prevention of conceptions in women, or the maintenance of the importance of the capacity of the human beings for sexual pleasures, and the corrections of menstrual disorders in women. So such types of advertisements should not be come in that media. Next one. And the prohibitions of misleading advertisements relating to drugs, like directly or indirectly gives a false impression regarding the true nature or character of the drug. That is, whatever they are claiming, that does not have any clinical data, clinical evidence. Make a false claim for the drug is otherwise false, misleading in any materials particular and are prohibited. Next one. Please go to the next one. Unnecessary. This is the case study. Next one. Go. Please. Case study. The division bench, the acting Chief Justice A.K. Sikri and Justice R.S. Endlaw. There is a Nirmal Baba. He claimed that the magical treatment, and he earned more than 200 crores within a few years in Delhi. The common man is being misled by the self-styled Nirmal Baba under the belief that the problems of the particular persons will be solved with his blessing. The Baba is spending lakhs of rupees. So the Baba is spending lakhs of rupees on his advertisement and earned more than 200 crores. And this false advertisements is suspended or banned by the acting Chief Justice by A.K. Sikri and Justice R.S. Endlaw in 1950, what is it, 2000, I think, in near about 2006-7, like that. Next one. These are the some advertisements comes in the, this is one, this is another advertisement, herbal supplement toxicity, lands patient in hospital. So she was suffering from diabetes, and with the advertisement, she has taken some medicine, herbal medicines, and suddenly he fall in some other types of complications, and it was found that he was suffering from lead toxicity. So the product contains some huge amount of lead, which may causes complications. And this is the poisonous in Ayurvedic medicines. Some advertisements came, some reports came, and this is, you know, that Patanjali. So there is a claiming of different types of formulations which can lower the blood glucose level or lower the lipid profiles or complicate or blood pressures, so and so. So that was also punishable offense and have punished 2023. Next one. So these are the some other types of advertisements everyday comics in your regular life you have seen. So that does not have any types of clinical evidence. Next one. So what is the last slide? Self-medications and unrestricted use of ASU drugs should be controlled. So our responsibility as a common people to report any of the ADR of the ASU drugs to the peripheral pharmacovigilance center so that it could be assessed. This is most important because patients consume the medicines. So if you train the patient, consult the patient or counsel the patient, they will report only the what are the complication comes. Third, the pharmacovigilance course curriculum has been included in postgraduate level. AYUS curriculum need to introduce on the bachelor level also. Next one. So these are actually These are the some actually we offer in the School of Natural Product Studies, the certificate course on herbal medicines. This is the 6-month course, and we train the pupils, we train the students to how to prepare different types of formulations, mainly the different types of Ayurvedic cosmetics like herbal shampoo, herbal soap, face wash, body lotion, hair oil, massage oil, everything, and absolutely all ingredients from the naturals. So there are some faculty members, those are from the Ayurvedic backgrounds, and they have their doctors, and some from the industry area. So, and how to standardize that formulation. So everything is covered with this course. And next one, I think this is my lab where the School of Natural Product Studies work with different instruments like HPLC, HPTLC, and for biochemistry analyzer, total hematology analyzers to calculate that blood samples, and that's next one, please. And these are my team, those who are work at present, and thank you everybody for the patience, and thank you to JISU University for giving the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Full informative session. Hope all the will gain very important information from your lecture. So, panel is open. So, if any participant want to ask some question to sir, ask.
Your participants, you can unmute yourself and you can directly talk to the speaker.
Actually, this is a new thing. Pharmacovigilance in modern medicines, there are some sorts of regulations or some sort of database is there. But still now the ASU drugs, the Ayurvedic, Siddha, Unani, and homeopathy medicines, the government of India, they are trying to establish some new data actually, data bank to different formulations. Because we know that it is not a single medicines. We are using the different types of mixture. So it is very difficult process to establish a product to save in different ways. So if you have any doubt or anything you may ask, I try to give the answer. Hello? Yes?
Devjani, you can check the chat box if there are any questions.
Meeting is still going on.
Right at this moment. Or we can collect all the questions and we can share it with Pallav sir.
Yes.
That's good.
Participants, you can write your question in the chat box also, or if you want to ask, then you can unmute yourself.
That's fine. I think VC sir has joined, so we'll move forward to the next session. And in the meantime, if we receive some questions, we'll get an email communication from the participants. We'll forward it to Pallav sir.
Okay. So thank you all the faculty members.
Just a minute. Sir, just a minute. Sir, we have a small token of appreciation, a certificate from our end, sir. Just I want to share my screen.
Yes, you can.
Is it visible?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pallav sir.
Okay, thank you so much.
Physically আসবেন.
Nishchay, sure, I'll go.
Thank you.
So may I leave now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So we have us Chancellor Professor. Sir,
good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Jenny, you may take it.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon to everyone. Now, to our, that is our second third day, FDP program, research and academic mutual enrichment sciences. I all and
Getting
now
disconnected.
Today's eminent speaker.
Devjani, you are getting.
Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Hello,
please.
sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now, Now I would like to introduce our today's eminent speaker for this second session, Professor Dr. Indranil Sengupta, Professor of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, India. He did his BTech, MTech and PhD degree in computer science from the University of Calcutta. He joined Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, as a faculty member in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in the year 1988 and has been actively involved in teaching and research for more than 35 years. He worked as a Vice Chancellor of JISU University for 2 years. And he has guided 23 PhD students and have published more than 200 papers in peer-reviewed journal and conference proceedings. His research interest includes reversible and quantum computing, VLSI design and test with emphasis on emerging technologies, and information security. He has been the general or organizing chairs of several reputed international conferences and symposium. He is also a senior member of IEEE. Welcome, Dr. Indranil Sengupta, sir, in our JISU University. And I just would like to welcome you on behalf of our Department of Pharmaceutical Technology, JISU University. Now, sir, platform is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Shankar. At the outset, let me apologize to the audience that my throat is extremely bad. But I shall try to keep speaking, try to convey whatever I'm trying to say so that you can hear. And the second reason I want to apologize to is that I have nothing to do with pharmaceutical science or engineering. But at the request of the organizers, Professor Maji, I agreed to share some of my thoughts. I don't know how much relevant this will be to this audience who are more focused in topics related to pharmaceutics. But anyway, I shall try to speak something about AI in healthcare and share some of my views. Because see, in terms of my research also, I do not work in AI in healthcare. But I have heard from my friends who work in these areas that what they work on and what are the different challenges that they face. So I am sharing some of the views. Okay, so let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. So the topic on which I would be speaking on is AI in healthcare. See, nowadays, all of us hear about AI and machine learning. In almost all fields, all disciplines that you talk about, not only computer science, you think about mechanical engineering, healthcare, civil engineering, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, everywhere. everywhere you see the developments, recent research, you see that researchers are talking about AI and machine learning. Now, actually, what is this AI and machine learning? Let me very briefly try to tell you about that before going into how it fits into the bigger picture with respect to healthcare, which may be more important and relevant for you. Okay. So, talking about artificial intelligence, this is nothing new. As a subject, artificial intelligence existed in the 1960s, more than 60, 70 years back. And even today, we see that this field is thriving. This AI as a field is still there. But what is AI? You see, we have seen the development of computers. See, when I was a student, there were no computers. And during the time I was doing my BTech, I started to see the PCs and other versions of affordable computers that started to become available. Okay. Now, artificial intelligence initially it belonged to the domain of science fiction stories. Very loosely speaking, you can say it concerns the ability of a computer to mimic human behavior. So how do we characterize human being? We humans, we can think, we can reason about things, we can make deductions, we can learn new things. This is one big advantage that as a human being we possess. So whatever we come with, our knowledge base is not fixed. Every day we learn new things. Our knowledge base keeps enhancing, right? Now, AI means how we can make a computer behave like a human being with respect to perception, reasoning, and also learning. Now, now, once we can do that, once we can have such a computer system, we can use it for solving complex problems in many complex applications. So, problems which normally required human effort, human intervention, now possibly can be done by computers. There are numerous applications today. Almost any application you can think of. There you will find some applications of AI. A few of them I've listed here: cybersecurity, healthcare, different kind of image, facial, video recognition, recommendation systems, automated system which will tell me what to do, how to do, what not to do. Okay, that is an example of a recommendation system. And in terms of the classical definition, artificial intelligence, I mean, a machine that has intelligence should pass something called Turing test. Now, what is a Turing test? Turing test pictorially looks something like this. Just imagine that there are two rooms. These rooms are sealed from outside. I cannot see what is inside. In one room, this is B, there is a human being which is inside, a person. And in the other room, there is a computer system. I call it A. And in the outside, there is a third person, C, who is asking some questions. to both A and B. The computer is intelligent, computer is supposed to give some answers. The human, of course, is intelligent, human will also give some replies. Now, we say the computer has intelligence if the interrogator cannot determine which one is the computer and which one is the human being. Both of them appears to be equally intelligent to the third party. If such a test is successfully passed, then you can say that the computer possesses artificial intelligence. Okay? This is the so-called Turing test. Now, traditionally, when you use computers, we write some programs, we develop some software, and we run that software on the computers. We get our problem solved. Traditionally, what we normally used to do is we develop something called algorithm. An algorithm is nothing but some step-by-step solution to a problem. Now, once we develop an algorithm, we convert that algorithm in a computer program and we run it on the computer system. This way, we can solve the problem. This mode of operation can be referred to as algorithm driven. There is an algorithm. We are using that algorithm to try and solve the problem. But today, this scenario has changed a lot. Today, in addition to problems that we want to solve as we used to do earlier, we have a different kind of scenario. There are huge volumes of data that are being generated every day. See, you are from pharmacology background. You know very well that there are huge amount of medical data that are being generated. Patient data, clinical data, data from different kinds of imaging like MRIs and other things. Huge volumes of data are being generated. Many of those data are also interpreted and classified by expert doctors. Okay? Now, we have today something called data-driven model, where we have a model of computing. Initially, the model has zero knowledge. But with this huge volume of data that we have, we try to train this model. There may be millions and millions sets of data. We use them to train the model. And once the model has been trained, we can say that, well, we have a model which has some intelligence. Now, this model can be used for future predictions and recommendations. This is the basic idea behind machine learning. The way we carry out machine learning, we talk about machine learning. This is the basic idea. We have a model. We have huge amount of data. We train the model. And after training, our model becomes intelligent. Okay? We can use our model to carry out some predictions, classifications, or recommendations. Now I am showing a few diagrams. These pictures I've taken from various sources. See, as healthcare professionals or as persons who are involved with the healthcare industry, all of you know that nowadays we have a huge volume of database that are being generated every day. And today, these data, this can be the patient data, clinical data, whatever data we have, these are stored somewhere in the cloud. Cloud is a shared storage which is stored somewhere else, not on my computer. It can be stored in Google, it can be stored in Amazon, it can be stored anywhere else. I do not care where it is stored. Whenever I require, I should be able to access it. Now, this diagram says that you have a healthcare cloud and various, you can say, stakeholders in the healthcare industry. They may be doctors, pharmacists, patients, families of the patients, and authorities who run the show, like the hospitals, clinics, etc. The diagnostic labs, they may be the traditional labs, they may be automated labs as well. They all take the data from the cloud, make some deductions, and possibly add to the knowledge and add something more to the cloud. This is how the whole ecosystem works. Okay? Let's take another diagram. This is a little more detailed. Here, on top, within this dotted box, we see the various ways through which data are being generated. Nowadays, we have a variety of body sensors. We can have different kind of medical bands, wristbands. We can have the so-called smart watches, which comes with a variety or wide variety of sensors. It can sense blood pressure, temperature, and a number of other parameters of our body. So there are data which are generated by these body sensors. Nowadays, there are some drugs which we have to take orally. They get inside our body, and from there, they start collecting data. These are called ingestible sensors. They go inside our body and they start sensing. Or there may be some sensors which may be embedded in our body, let's say under our skin, or let's say our heart. When we installed a pacemaker, that is like a device we are putting in, which is also generating some data, which is being sent outside. There can be electronic health records generated through a variety of means. Remote monitoring, emergency services, ambulances and other facilities which are mobile, they all come with various communication mechanisms. They all are communicating with the cloud. There can be smart hospitals, and now our homes is also becoming smart. They are connected. So if someone in a home falls sick, there will be immediate notification, and the person or the agency concerned will be notified to take necessary action without any delay. And from this data which is generated, there is a various kinds of networking mechanism, communication mechanism, through which they get transferred to the cloud. There may be local sensors, local computer servers. There is something called fog layer, fog computing. These are like cloud computing, but these are near the users. So from the fog, you can go to the cloud. So all this data which is generated, they finally get deposited in the cloud. Let's take another picture which depicts some flow of information. In the center, I'm showing this healthcare cloud. Cloud is nothing but some very high power computing servers with huge storage facility. You can store huge volumes of data in the cloud. Okay. Here also, various stakeholders are shown like doctors, system administrator, nurses, medical centers, patients, pharmacies, ambulances, and so on. And there can be some specialized doctor also. Now, the idea is that what I want to show is that, without going into the detail, that whenever data is generated from some point, say from a patient, maybe a nurse has come to the patient to collect some data. After collection, the data will be put on the cloud. And from the cloud, depending on the severity of the patient, what kind of data it is, it can go to a medical laboratory for tests. It can come back to the doctor's advice. If the doctor feels that it's a serious case, it can refer the case to some specialized doctors, which will happen automatically. So these arrows all indicate flow of information. Data or information moves from one entity to the other. And there is intelligence in the system in the sense that the movement of the data is demand driven, is data driven. You capture the data, you interpret the data, and accordingly you take necessary actions. Okay? Now, I'm sure many of you have heard of this. We hear about lab on a chip. See, you are associated with the pharmaceutical industry. You know about clinics where medical tests are conducted. There are a lot of reagents, lot of glass beakers, flasks, so on. I don't know the names of. There are microscopes and other measurement equipments, and lot of technicians, even doctors, who give specialized advice. When some sample comes from a patient, the staff in that clinic gets into action. Depending on what kind of test is being ordered, that sample is mixed with some reagents, some process is followed, and finally the result is evaluated either through a microscope or through some optical means or by some means. And then the report is generated. Now, a chip means an integrated circuit, a very small device which can fit in your hand. Very small, maybe 1 inch by 1 inch size. Imagine that this entire clinic you can squeeze inside this 1 inch by 1 inch dimension. So whatever test you want to perform, this small lab on a chip can perform the test. Here also you can feed the sample, but see, when some technician comes to collect my sample, it's a blood sample. It is a very large volume of blood which is being drawn from my body. I feel scared. But for a lab on a chip, a small drop is sufficient. A very small drop of the blood can be deposited in a particular designated place. Similarly, depending on the test you're performing, you will be needing various reagents. There will be a place for these reagents to be placed. Again, many of the reagents may be very costly. Here, you need very small volumes of reagents. So the cost is also very, very low. And after you put the reagents and the samples in various places, there's a mechanism in which the samples can move around. They can get mixed with the reagents. You can subject them to higher temperature or some other environments, mix them together, break them up into smaller parts, again mix with some other reagents. So again, some step-by-step process you can follow inside the small chips. And whatever you are doing in the large clinical lab, you are doing the same thing in this small chip. Advantage is that you are spending much less money and effort. Very few persons are involved. Very small amount of reagents and other consumables are involved. So cost is very, very okay. So lab-on-a-chip is built using various technologies. One of the technologies is digital microfluidic biochips. Here, the basic concept I'm trying to say, not going into the detail, the sample you're collecting, blood, urine, or whatever, the reagents that you are using to carry out the clinical test, all of them are defined as small drops. There are two layers. You put the drops in between the two layers. You see, there are two layers of glass. The droplets are in between the two layers. And there are some electrons, electrical points. You can apply some voltages from outside. By applying suitable voltages, these tiny drops, the dimension of these drops can be few microns by few microns, so small. They can be moved along the surface of this glass plate or whatever. Like this, you can move the drops, you can mix it with the other drops, you can do whatever you need to carry out the test. And finally, you can bring the drop in some point, but there will be some optical source, there will be some photo detector, some sensor. You sense some optical properties of these liquid drops and try to find out the result of your clinical test. Finally, what is the outcome? This is how this kind of biochips typically work. Of course, you can understand there are so many different kinds of clinical tests. One single biochip may not be sufficient for all kinds of tests. For example, when you are testing for your blood sugar levels, maybe you need some specific kinds of reagents only. But for some other kind of tests, you need something else. Okay, fine. Now, let's talk in a little general terms. So healthcare, you all know, is so very important to us, all of us. So how can artificial intelligence or AI help? See, traditionally, whenever we fall sick, we go to the experts, the doctors. Doctors have some expertise. See, all this expertise are not written in books. Some of them come out of their experience. It's in their head. Okay? So you're trying to simulate this kind of human intelligence using computers so that whatever role the doctor plays, at least some of it, I'm not saying that all doctors can be replaced, certainly not. But most of the routine things can be replaced by computers. This is where AI can be used to simulate human intelligence. Like, I'm giving one example. Back in the 2000s, there was something called expert systems which became very common. The idea was that, let's take the same example of a doctor. Doctor has a database which he or she has acquired over a long period, over many, many years, by treating so many different kinds of patients. Some of them, the doctor was successful, some of them, he or she was not successful. But some lesson was learned. The problem is, this knowledge is not very well defined. They are in the head. Whenever the doctor sees a symptom, something strikes in the head that, well, I think it is this disease, this is how diagnosis must be done. But suppose I say that whatever is in the doctor's head, the expertise, can I feed it into a computer in a database? It is very difficult, because taking the knowledge of a doctor in a form which can be fed into a computer is extremely difficult. But still, lot of efforts have been carried out, and lot of such expert systems do exist. They can carry out a number of different kinds of diagnosis and recommendations. Depending on some symptoms, the expert system can prescribe some medicines for you. Okay. Today, as I said, there have been advancements. You have machine learning approaches. We have the models which learn, which we train. After training, they become intelligent. So we are allowing machines, computer systems, to learn through success, learn through failures. Because failures are also very good learning points. Okay. Reasoning. What are the steps that have been taken for the diagnosis, and try to solve problems in the future. Now, this philosophy applies to any discipline, but in particular, healthcare stands to benefit greatly, which all of you obviously appreciates. Okay, including AI in healthcare is extremely important. See, medical imaging, it is very, very important. See, many of the critical diagnoses that are carried out, the tests that are carried out, they are some kind of imaging, like MRI, X-rays, ultrasonography, different kinds of scans. Nowadays, all these equipments are highly specialized. They are computerized. There are computer systems inside these expensive machines. Now, when these machines are taking some, say, as an image of my brain, traditionally, these images are interpreted by a doctor. But if we can incorporate AI in the system itself, the AI can give some preliminary diagnosis that, well, I find a tumor inside the brain. Please look into it carefully. Okay? I find something wrong in this part of the brain. There appears to be a lump. Please carry out some additional tests. Here, AI can come into the picture, because you see, a person, when he or she visualizes an image and tries to diagnose, there can be errors because the data are huge. But computers never get tired, whatever huge data you feed it. So, in that sense, accuracy and efficiency of this kind of medical image analysis can be much higher as compared to what humans can do. These are important for detecting early signs of disease. Okay? And obviously, treatment outcomes, some kind of recommendation can be given that this kind of treatment should be carried out. All right. Now, having AI in medical imaging, of course, there are challenges like the AI algorithms that can assist in diagnosis are not easy to build. Only very recently, such useful algorithms are starting to get commercialized and made available. But earlier, they were used only as supplement. So once they're available, they can help the humans, the doctors, in diagnosing rare or complex situations. Okay? And such automated diagnosis can minimize errors and also reduce the load on radiologists and other technicians. Okay? This can be done automatically. Now, another way in which AI can greatly help in healthcare is AI-powered virtual assistants. See, suppose I'm a patient. I am not only interested in finding a doctor to treat me, finding out what medicines I should take, but I want some consultation. I want my satisfaction that whenever I have a query, I have a question, there should be someone to help me out. I should have an answer. Nowadays, as compared to traditional thing, there are some help desks in the hospitals. We used to visit them. There were some semi-doctors who used to deal with us, listen to us, and suggest what we should do. Nowadays, many of these are being done automatically. There are virtual assistants, which sometimes we call chatbots. We type our queries or our doubts, and the chatbot automatically will respond with some suggestions or some kind of recommendations. And since they are computer based, we can have 24 into 7 support. Any time of the day, any day of the week, we can get these recommendations. They greatly simplify administrative tasks in the hospitals and nursing homes and other clinics. Efficiency is greatly improved. Communication between clients, patients, and the other stakeholders, the various healthcare providers, doctors, ambulances, pharmacies, so on. So there will be a communication link established between all of them. And the healthcare recommendations that are generated, they are not generic. They will be personalized to what I am requiring, to my needs. But of course, there are issues. Security and privacy in medical information system, as you know, is very important. Maintaining secrecy is extremely important in such scenarios. And there is something called predictive analytics, which is also becoming very important because we have seen the COVID outbreak. So we have learned this in a very hard way, that this is so important for us. That when is a disease likely to become an endemic or a pandemic, disease outbreaks, you get samples from everywhere, get the measurement data from everywhere. Based on that, statistical data. The system will try to predict whether there is a chance for disease outbreak. If so, what are the potential hotspots? What are the mechanism we should take up to restrict the spread of this, whatever is happening? Okay. So identification of high risk patients and how to carry out timely interventions. Resource allocation. See, unnecessarily we should not send an ambulance and a doctor to a patient. We should understand who is requiring kind of facility. Because resources are expensive, we should make optimum utilization. Okay, so this is important. Optimizing resource allocation in the various healthcare facilities. And when you are doing this predictive analytics, we should not forget about the various ethical considerations. Okay, we should not maliciously target specific groups or specific geographic areas. And this can also help us in tailoring treatments to individuals based on the genetic profile of that person, which is already in the cloud now. The genetic profile of every individual is supposed to be in the cloud. Of course, we are still not there, but we are slowly moving in that direction. Okay. And of course, a related thing is drug discovery and development. This is so very relevant to your area of work. If you integrate AI in your computing process, the drug discovery process can be accelerated. Genetic engineering and genetic analysis, all these things can be done by incorporating intelligence. You can also identify which are the potential drug candidates to address a particular target, you can say, disease you are looking for. If you can do this, your time and cost of clinical trials get drastically reduced. You have already seen this during the COVID period. Many of the drugs were discovered in a record period of time, which otherwise would have required several years. Okay. Here again, there can be ethical implications where relevant experts should come into the picture and say that what should be done and what should not be done. Because there are a lot of clinical trials and other things that need to be carried out. There are a number of issues. So generally, under ethical considerations, the most important is patient privacy and data security. So when I know that all my medical records are in the cloud, I must be assured that no one steals my data, which unfortunately no one can guarantee today. And the various algorithms that we use, they can lead to some kind of discrimination. Some group of individuals can be given preferential service, some other group may be denied. Okay. And thirdly, whenever we're using AI for any kind of decision making, we should not be just hearing the final outcome that, well, you are having this disease. No, I want to find out the step-by-step diagnosis, how the system has arrived at this decision. Then I will get a lot of satisfaction that my diagnosis is correct. Transparency and accountability. So we have to strike a balance between human oversight, which can happen if there's a human in the loop and when there can be human errors, right? But if we have completely autonomous AI-based systems, there can be some flaw in the algorithm that also you do not want. You need a good balance between the two. Okay. So some of the future directions, as far as my understanding goes, that AI-driven drug discovery is extremely important. And drugs, not generic drug. I am talking of drug which is specifically synthesized according to my requirement. I am a patient. I want a drug specifically designed for my requirement. That kind of AI-driven drug synthesis is possible tomorrow. Smart sensors and wearables, they're already coming for continuous health monitoring. You see, there are some countries, but we normally we do some life insurance, okay, LIC policies, the things. Now the amount of premium you have to pay, there are some countries where they make it mandatory for the person who has applied for that LIC to wear some band on the wrist or somewhere wrist all the time, because my health is being continuously monitored by the company. Depending on that, my insurance amount, monthly insurance, whatever I'm paying, that can vary. Okay. This is this is what I mean by continuous health monitoring. Someone can benefit out of it, like the insurance companies. Precision public health intervention. If you have AI predictive models, you can have precision intervention so that the flow of the different things that need to take place to handle a particular crisis can be mobilized in a proper way. And this is important, which is happening, but should be happening much more stronger way. Collaboration between AI experts and healthcare professionals. There has to be very strong tie-up between these two. Otherwise, this will not succeed. You see, at IIT Kharagpur, we have a School of Medical Science and Technology. There, we have a master's program where the MBBS doctors come to study. They study technology, they study engineering, they study computing. So they are trying to learn the best of both worlds and apply the resulting knowledge to their field of work in the future. Okay. So that is in short what I wanted to say. And I again apologize. I am a complete layman in this area. I don't know anything about what I've spoken so far. But still, I have heard from my friends, I've listened to some seminars that I attended. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a nice session. And this topic is, I think, it is very new, informative to all of us. Thank you for your informative
I would
session.
strongly recommend that you should also incorporate some components of this in your curriculum in whatever way it is possible, because these are very important, as you can all understand.
Sure, sure. Okay. Participants, if you have any query regarding this lecture, regarding this session, you can ask by unmuting yourself, and also you can write in the chat box. Okay. If you have any query, you can ask directly to the sir.
So if there are offline questions, you can mail them to me. I can respond. You can basically forward them later.
So if you have any query, participants, you can also write us and we will mail to the sir. If you have any query. Okay, I think in the chat box there is no questions.
Yeah. So I was not sure whether I would be able to talk for half an hour or 40 minutes, but anyway, I was able to manage.
No, sir. It was wonderful. Okay. So, yes. Sir, thank you once again to be with us.
Thank you.
Sir, I would like to present you a small token of appreciation. Let me share my screen, sir, first. Am I visible?
Yes, it's coming. Yeah.
Sir, this is from on behalf of our Pharmaceutical Technology Department, JISU University. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much. Just I wanted to collect this in person by visiting physically, but unfortunately, because of my health, I was not able to come.
Yes, sir. Sure.
And just one of the participant was saying that and this PPT, whether it can be shared, I can mail it to you. You can just share it with the participants.
Sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. No problem. Okay, thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
the participants, we are ending our today's session, and tomorrow we will start our next session. Fourth day, first session will be started from 2 p.m. And please fill the feedback form, which is in your chat box also. Okay, so we are ending our today's session.
Thank you, sir.